Hello everyone, welcome back to Super Smash or Pass. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a classic NES character, Ninja Gaiden from the Ninja Gaiden series.
Colors weave into a spire of flame. Distant sparks call to a past still unnamed. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul and reawaken the undying light.
Ninja Gaiden, and or Ryu Hayabusa, as he's actually known as his real name, started out in Ninja Gaiden for the NES back in 1989. And of course, this was the first game in the series. It was developed by Tecmo, which is now Koei Tecmo, but it's one of the most notoriously difficult NES games that have ever existed. Its sequel, Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, released also on the NES in 1990, and the third game in the franchise was Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom for the Super Nintendo and the original NES in 1991. And these are really like the first trilogy of NES games, and they're kind of the more classic looks at this character. The other games in this franchise have changed drastically, but those are the three like classic ones. Then you have Ninja Gaiden Shadow for the Game Boy in 1991, again very similar to the trilogy of games on the NES. You have Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword on the DS in 2008, which used Ryu's more modern design. And finally, Dead or Alive Dimensions on the Nintendo 3DS in 2011. Now, some of you may not realize why that game's on there. Ryu is actually a regular appeared fighter on the Dead or Alive series, and honestly, actually, you might know him from that more than his own games at this point, because it's been a long time since Ryu has appeared in a game. So I think that Ninja Gaiden should harken back to its original appearance on the NES. We've seen this with other characters that have more modern versions, like I would say Sonic, but that's not the best example. More like things like Pac-Man or Mega Man or Simon Belmont. They could have gone with more modern approaches to those characters, but Sakurai and his team decided to harken back to the older, more classic version that more fans remember and really long for. And I think Ninja Gaiden is a good example of this. So I would like that his moveset would cater more towards his older NES appearances and harken more to those moves and power-ups he had back then. I also think that this character should be a little bit heavier than your average ninja class character like Greninja or Sheik. And I think that the weight class they should put him in is more around like Link's weight than it should be Sheik's. I just think that differentiating him from Sheik is going to help a lot. I think Ryu's moveset should kind of be catered around him doing a lot of damage quickly from afar and then getting in, launching the character, and getting right back out. I don't think he should be in the fight too much, but if he is, and he has to be in a close combat scenario, he can do it because he's a little bit bulkier than a character like Sheik. And of course, to fill out his moveset, I do think you can take some of the more modern stuff from his more modern incarnations, as well as Dead or Alive if they need that to fill in his character. Speaking of one of them, for his Final Smash, I think he should use the Grip of Murder technique, although they probably have to change that name. But the Grip of Murder sends Ryu into this flash of just rage, and he'll just kill a bunch of enemies and take damage. Now, I think we're going to have to change that a little bit for Super Smash Bros. Because, of course, taking damage from a Final Smash doesn't make that much sense, nor does killing a bunch of enemies on the stage at once, because that's way too overpowered. So instead of doing that, I think it should release a fury of attacks onto the enemies that are caught within the area of effect, and cut to a cinematic that he just releases a bunch of weaponry, maybe even makes substitutes of himself to also inflict damage on the character, and that's it, more similarly to other characters like Greninja and whatnot do. I was thinking something that would be really cool for Ryu would to have his old NES design as one costume set, and then his more modern version as a different costume set, similar to characters like Alph and Olimar or Cloud and his various designs, or Bayonetta. And Ninja Gaiden isn't exactly the most modern or relevant game at the moment. I figured this character is probably better known for Dead or Alive at this point than he is for his own game series. But the reason I think a character like Ninja Gaiden is brought into this is because of how iconic he was in the NES era and how important he was in the NES era. When you look at characters like Simon Belmont or Mega Man or even Pac-Man, these characters were extremely important when they debuted, and in the more modern age, they've kind of lost some footing. So this character is an icon in gaming. This character's game, the first Ninja Gaiden game, is going to be on, or if it's not already on, the NES Online system of thing, the paid subscription thing for the NES games. That's going to be on here. So what a better opportunity to add this character as DLC into Smash Brothers than when you are showing a new generation of gamers the original game, and put the other two ones on there. Get these people invested in this character and show them who this guy was, and then put him in Smash. I think it's a perfect opportunity. We also know that Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja, the developers behind Ninja Gaiden, are very close with Nintendo. These are the guys who worked on Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, so there's no reason to think that they wouldn't want Ninja Gaiden in here. We also don't have a Koei Tecmo rep at all, and Tecmo was a pretty big part of the NES era, so I think Ninja Gaiden would be a great representative for Smash Brothers, and is definitely a more off-the-wall choice, just like Joker was perceived to be. So for all those reasons, my verdict for Ninja Gaiden or Ryu Hayabasa is, of course, I'm also going to be giving Ryu a ticket. Now you'll have to excuse me because I had to film this video in advance due to just exams and stuff coming up. So this is actually being filmed the same day as the Heihachi video was filmed. So next week we're going to cover both Heihachi and Ryu's results in that video because I don't have the poll results with me at this moment. But let me know, what do you guys think that Ninja Gaiden should be one of the 5 DLC characters? We have a poll running here on YouTube, both in the comments and with the card that will appear on screen right now, as well as on Twitter and Instagram at 2idiotsprod. So guys, that's it for today's video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff down below. And I'll see you guys next time.